I do not know how to fix Cabbl box.
Last time on Milinoket Cabbl.
As of tonight, my company and I take responsibility for the crushing blow to your company.
A crushing blow to my life. Son, I think it's time I told you everything.
This time on Milinoket Cabbl.
One day.
Dad. What's the matter? Other than the fact that the Cabbl head end was robbed.
Well, I saw something that really was frightening. I remember. That symbol. Forever may it be cursed.
What symbol?
It was a picture of the sun with a mask plastered over it. And it had numbers on it. And I clearly remember seeing that before. It feels like it was only yesterday, when the worst day of my life happened. But this isn't the place to tell you where I saw that. Someone might be listening.
Just a few seconds later.
Well, at least they didn't see the hatch to upstairs. Let's go.
A few stairs later.
This picture just makes me feel uncomfortable. The look on my face emits a feeling of loss.
That picture is missing something, son. Do you recognize the missing element here?
No. What? You mean? It's my mom. But then again, I've never even seen what my mom looks like.
Well, if I want to begin telling you about what all happened, I need to explain everything that led up to that time. And it's quite an interesting story, so I'd say it'd be best to sit down for this.
Hey, look at me!
You've got to be kidding. I'm not even going to look right now.
Dad.
What?
Duck.
What duck? Get me out of this wall, why don't you? Larry, I'm fixing this wall and I'm making you pay for it.
Well, it's kind of bumpy, don't you think?
Dad, what do you see in there?
Well, I see Cabbl, I see France, and for some reason I think I see your old underpants. Either that or I'm starting to lose blood flow to my head. Get me out.
Okay.
Thanks. Larry, get up.
Okie dokie.
I think you're going to be interested in my story. Alright, well, our story begins with some very colorful trains.
1 second in, already confused. What do trains have anything to do with the story? And where's Nelsun? Wasn't he with Lary?
Well...
Nelsun, come here.
Aren't we all? Anyhow, back to the story. Son, this is what I mean by colorful trains. Nowadays, kids have chug it down, but back then we had something better.
And now, back to battle trains.
Ah ha 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 ha. I will become the ultimate battle train and I will rule the world.
Not so fast, Thomas. I will put an end to your antics now.
No 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 no.
I'll take care of this one.
You can't be serious. You always take care of them all.
No 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 no.
Man, was that my show or what?
Alright, that was the dumbest thing I've ever watched.
Don't make fun of battle trains.
Can we get back to the story? Please.
That was only the beginning. That's what was on TV all the time when I was a kid. For real though, let's get into what my childhood was like. You see, my family lived outside of the town, somewhat to the west, in a reddish house. There was a house next door, but no one had lived in it for a long time. I always wondered if anyone would ever bother to move into that house. Not just me, though. Of course, there were people living nearby, the McNoodles. Dad McNoodle, Mama McNoodle, and their son Sean were the closest family to mine, and of course, Sean and I were friends, to the absolute dismay of my father. Did I mention that Sean was slightly, destructive?
Well, what did he do?
Well, Sean had a tendency to be a bit on the wacky side.
Guess what?
Eh?
I have an idea for a game while these commercials are on.
And that is?
Battle to the death with frying pans.
And how will we do that? My dad will hear all the loud noise, and he'll have to put you outside again, and we don't want that.
I can't care less.
Wait, where's the other frying pan?
You didn't get one yet?
Well. Oh no, wait.
Haha.
Well, intervention was needed or I'd get beaten to death.
Kids, what do you want for lunch?
Thankfully, it came quickly.
Macaroni.
Fish sticks.
Macaroni.
Fish sticks.
Macaroni.
Fish sticks.
Macaroni. Macaroni.
Get on with it.
For crying out loud.
Macaroni and fish sticks.
And that is how I was spared from a cold, metallic death. Also, that's how macaroni and fish sticks was made.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. My father sold his recipe and it got popular. What are you doing? Well, oh, okay then. Remember that old house I told you about? Well, a few years later, someone actually finally bought it. You see, all the houses inside the town were taken up by paper mill workers. That, of course, was when it was still open. So, with that in mind, a family from overseas came here and renovated the neighboring house. They did a good job too. But wow, did they bring joy to my life.
Wait, don't press against that glass too much.
However, that joy came after a trip to the hospital.
The day Dad got out of the hospital.
Wait. I think I know what you mean by joy.
Hi.
Wait. Is that?
The mother you never really knew.
But why? How? You aren't giving me answers. I want to know.
I'm not there yet. Hang on. After the first day everyone met each other, we explained our interests to each other. It turned out that we both liked the new technologies that were coming out. My hobby specifically was none other than Cabbl, and that is what would lead up to where we are now. Her name was Ruby, by the way. And over the next few years, she and I became close friends. Sean and I still hung out, but I must say it was considerably less than in previous years. Later on, Ruby and I got married. Then you came into this world. And then I started to build the Cabbl company. One day, close to when the building was nearly completed, Stern High School, where I went to school, asked me to install Cabbl in anticipation of opening day. They wanted to be one of the first places to get my service. I drove over there one morning and began to install coax cables in every room. By the end of the day, I headed to the phone, because it was ringing. I presumed that Sean knew where I was that day, because it was him.
Hey. I'm leaving Milinoket, and I'm not going to come back. I'm sorry. Goodbye forever.
And thus began the worst chapter of my life. And at that point, I drove all over town looking for him. I could not find him. I frantically drove to my parents' house. That's when I realized my trip across town was the ultimate waste of time. Well, you see, I jumped out of my vehicle and went inside the house. I ran all across the house looking for someone, anyone. I came across you, son, in the living room, all alone. And you had a note attached to your shirt. I read it.
It has come to the point where I can no longer stand it. I'm through with all of the mess I have to put up with on a daily basis. This is revenge.
I ran to Ruby's house too. A vehicle was there but no one was inside. It was there I wept. I lost everyone I knew and loved that day other than you, son. My last hope was the Cabbl company. If I moved there with you, then I could watch you easier. After all, I had an upstairs room which I could work into an apartment of sorts. Maybe then I could keep you safe there. I couldn't stand it anymore. I got into my vehicle with you and drove that way. Around 7 or 8 that evening, I got to the company. That's when I realized something else. I didn't have much when it came to groceries, furniture, or anything for that matter. I whispered to you as a reminder to myself, we'll get groceries later.
Well, did you even report that to the police?
Of course I did. And for years afterward, I drove all around trying to find everyone. That failed horribly. At the end of it all, my hair and mustache were gray, and I was sinking lower and lower into a hole of shame. I could not imagine that I caused this.
Don't blame yourself, it's not your fault.
Then whose fault is it?
Whoever took all that you loved.
I'm through with story time. That was a depressing story, huh? What time is it?
5:25 a.m. Wait. That's not a rock. That's a moose.
The vent has returned for seconds.